Peace, it's Farmer Courtney. So coming to you from the crazy cluttered garage. But the reason why I'm just jumping on here and making a video is because when I went on my YouTube feed, I was looking for something to listen to during my dinner preparation. I'm also making some farmstead cheese, and I saw this little bird video right beneath something that Brother Ben X had posted about, you know, giving someone a shout out, saying that they've always been a great supporter of the channel. And I actually thought the two things were linked. I thought he was making a point about this bird, because in this video you can see starts out with a box that somebody had put out, and it's going in and out, trying to figure out how to do for self, right? Like, it needs to build itself a nest. It looks like it's spring, right? That's when birds lay eggs. And so this little bird is just, you know, going in and out. And I'm tired, it's after market, you know, so I started thinking like, oh, okay, well, yeah, so they're not actually related. He didn't post this bird, but that's, I guess, for me to post and talk about this bird, because get this, I went back to the house and granted, a couple other children have been in and out, but randomly there was a bird in my daughter's room, and they have all these little horses and stuff, and it had knocked all the horses off the window, all their display. They're gonna have some work to do, but I just thought, all right, I guess I gotta speak on this bird thing. So look at the little bird, right? We're like cheering him on, or her on. She's building, you know, she's not exactly, you know, she knows what she has to do, but it wasn't an instant thing, right? She came in, checked it out, was like, I gotta do something about this bare place, right? Make a way. And then now she's, you know, going in and out, and they're speeding it up. It gets a lot more speedy as we watch it, but it's like we find ourselves really cheering on the bird, or at least I do, you know, like, and check it out, it gets all specialized now, you know, different types of materials coming in. So anyway, it reminded me of digital real estate with Brother Ben X, of just how, you know, I felt like I kind of had this empty space. I knew that I was driven on purpose to you know, speak on certain things and to make content around certain topics and ideas and share things, but I always felt like I was kind of hopping around in this empty box of, you know, just not really going one way or the other with drive and enthusiasm and consistency, because I was really waiting for somebody to give me permission to do what it is that I wanted to do. And I know, you know, all kind of people will say like something about that, right? Like that in itself speaks something, but that's just reality. That's part of my story, is that I was really waiting for someone in the Nation of Islam to give me permission. So it's not random that I have the ability to, you know, gather together my focus and my courage and just speak how I speak and share about how I feel about the mathematical theology of the Nation of Islam, my experience learning from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and interacting with the Nation of Islam, and why, you know, I'm a Caucasian apologetic for the Nation of Islam. Like, I'm not a member of the Nation of Islam. I had seen some comments recently about that old video that I had up, like, can Caucasians join the Nation of Islam? And I just kind of broke it down of, you know, like, you can join in spirit, you can join in unity of purpose, but no, you know, like, we're not permitted to do so at this time. And so it's not some sort of thing that I just one day felt like, okay, hit record without getting some sort of permission. So in April, Brother Ben X of whatever year that was, I haven't looked at the timeline exactly, I had a discovery call with him, because he was coming out with, you know, one of his first steps of really upping his organization around the digital real estate concept, the making content, you know, like before ABS and digital real estate, there was this other program. And so, you know, I had a discovery call with him, and I just said, you know, peace, I'm Farmer Courtney, you know, I do local food, I do healthy cooking, I share about natural remedies. And then I said, you know, and I'm a Caucasian who bears witness to the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and I want to weave those three things into my content. And I've, you know, for obvious reasons, we run a farm. I was only even able to make the case to get an iPod when, remember those back in the day? I had a flip phone and I got an iPod because I had twin infants, and my husband was feeling kind of like, okay, yeah, here, you're in the chair just feeding these babies all the time. I'll get you an iPod, all hours of the day and night. So I'll get you an iPod. And so that was when I first started, getting into making content. It was the first time, like I remember when I heard about YouTube, I literally pulled my car over and I found this, ratty old piece of receipt paper and this pen that barely worked, and I might have even had an Isuzu Trooper back in that day, and I'm trying to write on the steering wheel as we do, and the pen is poking through because the ink isn't flowing right. But I was like, YouTube, I have to remember that. That was back in the day before I even had twins, but I wasn't getting a lot of good sleep. I was always trying to, do some kind of projects at night, whether it was cooking for the next day, sewing, hustling, like whatever thing I was trying to do in addition to motherhood and homeschooling. I knew I didn't want to forget YouTube. Little did I know that you would have to have been in a coma for years to not know what YouTube is, or, completely away from society. But, that's when I first started thinking I can make videos with this little iPod thing. And then, I was busy with the babies. And so I think the first YouTube videos I ever made with it were getting the twins in their snowsuits in less than 6 minutes. It's actually my most viewed YouTube video ever, or was one of them before the navy bean powder. I have to go back and check. But anyway, all that to say is that, eventually, so I got an iPhone 4, and then I was still making a lot of content that was specifically just on the things that people gave me permission to make content about in my immediate, family and business and things like that. It was always just kind of like, you're a liability. Like, why do you want to be as controversial as possible? Like, can you just knock it off and not talk about all that Farrakhan stuff to whoever, comes through, or that you can make a connection with? Why don't you just leave it alone? So, I was you can look back and see I was just really sticking to local food and foolishly actually thinking as if, I could just do something else and have any kind of peace or anything in my life. And so then I was still, doing the farm content, but I was always really striving for more. And so I actually got an interview randomly with Gary Vaynerchuk. He was in between promoting the Thank You Economy and Jab, 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 Right Hook. And so he was like, I'm giving 365 interviews. And somebody I knew back in 2012 or 13 said, why don't you get on Twitter? She was always on Twitter, and I was pretty much only doing Facebook at that point. It was like a miracle to me that I could take photos and do all this stuff. It was a big deal. We were always, getting rolls of film and not getting them developed. Most people probably don't reflect on how challenging it used to be to document things anymore, because we just, adapt to what the new standard is. But it used to really be a thing to be able to document anything. And so I said, okay, I'll get on Twitter. I was on Twitter for a couple weeks, and he was one of the people that I followed because I had seen him at a social media GPS convention, which I think maybe there's others, but it was actually an early talk for him because it was a Christian marketing event, and they asked him not to cuss. And so it was a Gary Vaynerchuk event that he didn't cuss at. And so he was like very relatable because I think he might have enjoyed the challenge. I don't think he saw it as, that was somehow taking away from him. So it was this next level of real connectability. So I just always was so linked to him ever since I got, Crush It from the library. I would read that all the time. And so, it was a big thing for me. And so I would, go on Twitter every once in a while. And that was him at, the ultimate demonstration of this is how you use Twitter back in the day, for those who remember. That's why we know who Gary Vee is at the level. Twitter really, really helped him. So it turns out that nobody had ever contacted VaynerMedia who was a farmer.